overall purpose of the consortium is to build capacities in African countries for postgraduate students who can better manage solid waste management, particularly in the African cities. Training high-level personnel on various aspects of solid waste management that include understanding the amount and patterns of generation of solid waste in African societies, looking at best available technologies of dealing with solid waste management, issues to do with governance, Africa's institutions, how can they be more responsive to appropriate and efficient solid waste management services, and creating awareness, creating partnerships so that the issue of solid waste management is given a holistic approach. We would like to look at solid waste as a resource. Quite often, we have dealt with solid waste as something that has to be taken to the dump site or to landfills or at the very worst left in the environment. But we would like to promote the conversion of solid waste into useful materials, energy recovery, for instance, recycling of certain materials. And we find this actually very important for Africa because it has the potential to create jobs, particularly amongst the young people and women in our African societies. To create partnerships with policymakers. This is people in local authorities and people in the relevant ministries that have to deal with waste. And not just the ministries dealing with waste, because we want to look at waste in a holistic manner. Waste will affect our air, waste will affect our soils, waste will affect our water. So we're talking about those relevant policymakers in government, national government and local government. So involving them both in terms of the research that we do, we want to do this research in partnership with them, and addressing real problems that are faced in different parts of each of the countries that are involved, so that we can come up with appropriate solutions, appropriate to the African situation, so that there is no gap, or there should be no gap between the research scientists in the universities and the policymakers. Obviously, we learn a lot from each other, and therefore there is a lot to learn between ourselves, that is South-South. There is a lot to learn from the North, because there is a long history of innovation, and we don't have really to reinvent the wheel. Well, having said that, whatever we get from another environment, we have to make sure that it is customized to the local African environment for good results to be seen. So we do intend, first of all, to strengthen the intra-African partnership. We intend to reach out to other universities in Africa, because so far only universities in 5 countries, and we have so many universities in Africa. The problem is all over in Africa. So it makes a lot of sense for us to, first of all, strengthen within ourselves and then reach out to our African partners. Already, we have contacts with Asian universities, and we would also want to reach out to the international research organizations for best practices.